Will Breath of the Wild 2 release in 2021?
All
And Chris, there's
right.
something you wanted to bring up on the last show.
Yes, yes. I was going over so much, and I had forgotten because I had to do the dig. That Aonuma trolled everybody, and I read exactly what he said in the thing. But one of the interesting things he said in there, and I didn't go back to it, was he said that there would be news about Zelda later this year, and I found that very interesting because when I had to listen to the um, his speech again for the show when I was preparing for the show, then I was like, wait a minute, why did he say that? He said later this year. He could have said look forward to. They're always about seasons. Like whenever Nintendo says they have news, it's like, oh, look for something in spring, summer, fall. They'll use a season, right? So you have a general area of time. He didn't say that with Breath of the Wild 2. He said look forward to news later this year. And I was like, that's troubling. That tells me something that this game, and then he immediately qualified it by saying development is moving smoothly. So that told me two things. Yay, last year development was not smooth, probably because of the Rona. And two, since you have news later this year, you have no idea when you're going to have news about the game or something to show, which tells me that this game ain't launching this year. They're not going to have it ready for holiday 2021, which is that's a huge deal. I'm like, God damn, you can't have this game ready this for this holiday. That I don't know what their holiday game is this year or what their big release is, but you can't hit for the 35th anniversary of Zelda. You're gonna only have a port of Skyward Sword. All right, so that's number one. Number two, when I think it is coming out, they're gonna try to full steam it ahead and get it out um, beginning or mid March next year, so they can have it out right before their fiscal year closes, so they can have some numbers on the report for Breath of the Wild 2. So that's my prediction based on what he said. I just found it very interesting. He didn't say, "Oh, we'll have some news this spring," because spring is a while, right? No, summer. He didn't say that either. Summer's when Skyward Sword is coming out. So you'd think, right? Like, oh, we'll have news with Skyward Sword. We're gonna have news about Breath of the Wild too. No, he didn't say that either. Later this year. That tells me there's some problems.
You're not going to see two Zelda games, big Zelda games, come out in the same year. No way. No way.
Yeah.
Well,
You
dude,
know?
they're not further along. Like when they say that they have news, like they would say that they have the game. Keep in mind, we live in a world where we're going to get a preview about the news, about the announcement of a game.
The announcement of an announcement.
Yeah. So we're gonna, if they say like we'll have news later this year, it's like yeah, they're breadcrumbing you, man. They're not gonna have a game later this year. If they say we have news this year, that means the game comes next year. Because yeah, they're announcing news later this year. How fucking retarded? How did we get to this point?
It's been like that for a while. We could blame. I thank Kojima for that, man. He popularized announcement and an announcement back in the 2000s. You know.
God.
So there you
We're
go.
gonna have news
or
about
Square
a game.
Enix.
Square Enix as well. They did that too hard. You know. We have an announcement of an announcement.
At least it lets you know how far out a game is a little bit more now, though. Because yeah, they're like, we have an announcement about some news later this year. You're like, well, that game's not coming.
You know. I just hope that Nintendo breaks the cycle and this game doesn't release on the Switch and Switch 2 simultaneously. That happens with every Zelda game. Every major Zelda game has happened. Like it was like 3 in a row now, right, Chris? 3 Zelda games in a row. It was like we had one that was on
Twilight
Wii.
Princess and Breath of the Wild was the second one.
All right, so 2 of them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they need to
I
stop
mean, how long
that
has
shit.
Switch been out?
Switch has been out since 2017.
2017.
Yeah,
Okay, so when do you
I
guys think
remember
we're
Breath
gonna
of the
get
Wild
this?
launched on Wii U
on
at the
Wii U.
same
Yeah, people forget that.
Do you guys think we're gonna? I'm gonna hijack and ask a question real quick. Do you guys think we're gonna? When do you think we're gonna see news about the successor to the Switch?
It's a good question because here's the thing: the Switch is doing so well right now. Nintendo doesn't have to now shit for a long time.
Well,
You know?
it's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because generally Nintendo has a short lifespan on their systems, but a really long lifespan on their handhelds. So this being a hybrid, this thing could be the next DS and just be out for fucking ever,
Could be.
or it could be the Wii U.
I don't think it's gonna be the Wii U because this thing's actually
I don't-
successful.
I don't either, but they keep talking about the Gamosphere keeps talking about upgrading the damn Switch. Now,
These motherfuckers have been
fan
talk.
talk.
Yeah, it's fan talk. They've been talking about that literally since the Switch came out. They've been talking about that. I'm not even exaggerating.
But it shows there's a desire for a follow up. So like I'm split. I'm like, the audience probably wouldn't be happy, but a lot of them are begging for it.
Hey, Brett. Does Nintendo care?
No,
we talked about that last segment.
Wait. Fuck. Nintendo cares about money.
They do, but they're making so much money right now.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? They're good on that end.
Yep. Settle in, boys and girls. We'll probably live another 7 years of this.
Yep. I would not be surprised if the Switch lasts for 10 years. I wouldn't put it past Nintendo. I really wouldn't. And
so
put it past.
Yeah, go ahead. You wouldn't put
how many generations technically? Well, not technically. I'll say it's bullshit that the Switch got a mulligan.
Yeah, I got two
generation.
consoles in one gen and get the shit out of it, man.
That was bullshit. But now what are they? 3 gens behind because of the mulligan they got?
Yeah.
Over?
Yeah, they're 3 generation. It is a 3 generation because we had a segment about this a long time ago where we were asked. I think it was Riku that asked us like, "What generation do you think the Switch belongs to?" And I said it belongs to the PS3 gen, so that's like 2 gens.
See, you guys are going by consoles, though. You could also judge it by handhelds. Here's an idea, though. Yeah. What if Nintendo released a new base system and just relegated Switch to what the DS was?
They could, but I don't think they're going to do that. They have no. They have no reason to release a new console or anything like new hardware at the moment. They're doing so well with the Switch.
Okay, it leads me to one more question, and I'm sorry if I'm hijacking shit.
That's all good. We got to keep this segment going. I'm making this a TD clip, so keep it going.
Yeah, okay. Do you think that Nintendo's next console will be a dockable system?
Yes.
I mean, they've had such success with this, but Nintendo has a history of walking away from good ideas.
They only walk away from good ideas when they stop working.
When they stop working, yeah, they're going to do it again. Yeah.
No, yeah, they walk away from good ideas when they don't sell.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Wii. I mean, no, the Wii wasn't.
They didn't take another stab at a Virtual Boy. You know what I mean? Because it's true.
And think about it. They kept motion controls. Motion controls.
They kept motion controls, and there was multiple DSs. So
the next I don't know what they're going to call it. Then it will be dockable for sure. I fully believe that.
Yeah, I mean the Switch is in line to sell over 100 million consoles. They are gonna. This is gonna be the new 3DS. The 3DS lasted for fucking ever. It's like 3DS. It was like DS, 3DS, 3DS XL. There's so many fucking iterations. 2DS. There are so many iterations, and the Switch is going to be nothing different. It's going to be the Switch, and then it's going to be like Switch
Pro or something. Yeah, they'll extend its life with a Pro version.
Yeah, exactly.
The Switch XL.
The Switch XL. That's right. It's going to be even bigger Switch.
Dude, they'd be better off selling that dock that supplements the power.
Yeah, we've been talking about that forever. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if the dock actually gave more power? But again, Nintendo, they don't listen to us, man.
They don't like good ideas.
Yeah, no, they don't. That's why I can't stand that fucking company, man. I'm just being honest, man. I can't stand Nintendo. I really can't.
They're charging you $90 for an HDMI port and a USB-C power converter right now.
You guys know,
need a base that actually had anything useful in it.
You guys know I don't like the term, anti-consumer. I don't like that term, but I'm very tempted to use that sometimes with Nintendo. Just saying.
Dude, I gotta say, this is the one leg that I really love the Xbox for. Because I look at Sony does the same thing. Like, I've bought old games, and if they're not quote unquote on sale, they're like $40 for $60 games like 5 years later. So like, yeah, I look at fucking Nintendo, and I'm like, stop selling old games for full price. And I look at PlayStation, I'm like, stop selling games for $70. And I look at Microsoft, I'm like, keep giving away games for free. I do like that.
Well, also Microsoft, I have to give them credit. They don't hate their fans.
No, they don't.
Like
Nintendo does hate their fans.
Back in the day,
the world that we live in, that we have to say that statement.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm serious, because like you look at the FGC, you look at like the Killer Instinct community. When Microsoft saw that they were doing grassroots stuff and they were going to put up money, you know what Microsoft did? They funded the guys who did that. They're like, we'll pay for that and we'll add to your pot. You know what Nintendo does? They pull out their lawyers and threaten to sue you.
Yep.
To the guys who try to do that with Smash Brothers.
Nintendo. I'm going to say this right now, man. I'm going to get in trouble. I think the hardcore Nintendo fans, they must be having like Stockholm syndrome, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you be loyal to that stupid ass company? You know?
I can tell you right now, it's nostalgia combined with children.
Oh my
God! You have good memories of Nintendo. You want to share those with your kids. That's why they get all of these mainline franchises. Like, man, you loved Mario, so you want to pass on Mario and have your kids love Mario. Like, I'll be fucking honest, man. Mario alone as a mascot, without legacy, does not have the fucking legs to be a current mascot. That shit came out in a weird time. If you came out now, you're like, hey, we got a short, fat Italian as our mascot. Shit would not fly.
No,
even if it did fly, nobody would be interested. They'd be like, all right, like, you know, even like, okay, so there's a fat Italian plumber and his magic hat. Like, what the fuck is this game?
Because it's made by a bunch of Japanese people. How dare you?
Yeah, I was about to say, is he? I was about to say, I'll stop. I was going to get us in trouble right now.
You can't do that,
man.